And this is your latest transfer news. A lot to get into today, including the latest on Riccardo Calafiori. I know it feels like it's taking a lot of time, but it's going to get done. We'll also be covering the latest on the defender who could potentially leave after Calafiori joins, and also the latest on Emil Smith-Rowe. Will he stay or will he leave? We'll be covering all of that. But first, I want to say congratulations to Saka and Declan Rice. Yesterday, I haven't gotten to speak about it on camera since yesterday. Still buzzing for them, and obviously, Raya going to the final as well, and Saliba going to the not the final, the semi-final, and Saliba, Raya, all of them going to the semi-final. And I was so happy for Saka yesterday. That penalty, I was so nervous, so happy that he got through that one. And one of the Arsenal players is potentially going to win a trophy comeback with a Euros medal. I don't know who it's going to be, Saliba, hopefully it's one of those three. I predicted Netherlands to win the Euros at the beginning of the tournament. They still could, but it's looking like it's going to be one of the other three, but who knows? Spain probably the favorites, which will mean Raya comes back with the medal, but let's see what happens to that. Let's first get to the news on Calafiori. This is from Fabrizio Romano, and he has to say Arsenal are pushing to get Riccardo Calafiori deal done next week, as final round of talks has already been scheduled. Arsenal are confident as Calafiori wants the move. He's keen on Arsenal project and agreed on contract until June 2029 for €4 million net and per season. Deal close. So listen, I'm sure this deal is already done. It's already being just finalized. As Fabrizio says, we're heading to the final talks. I did say I'm expecting like a here we go over the weekend, but listen, no difference really for it on Sunday or Monday. Teams have already given up. The likes of Chelsea have already given up, so no worry about being hijacked. This is what Team Links and Tick said. Chelsea have given up on signing Riccardo Calafiori. They're the only team who were really competing with, so I'm not worried about the deal getting hijacked. We have to finalize the deal. Actually, according to reports from I'll come to the rest of what Fabrizio Romano said, but according to Nico, this is what he's had to say about the finalizing of the deal. He says Riccardo Calafiori to Arsenal for Bologna for 50 million contract until 2029. The centre back will sign for Arsenal after July 19th, when he will return from a holiday. He's currently in Maldives, so that's when he's going to put pen to paper. But in terms of agreement and all that, that will be done this week, and then we have to wait for the player to come back from his holiday and then come back and sign his contract. So meantime, during that time, I'm sure we'll be looking at our third signing and our fourth signing of the transfer window. We're not just going to be sitting and waiting for Calafiori to come back. But that's the thing with signing players who are the Euros and stuff. You have to wait for them to come back after their holidays. You can't disrupt their holidays. It's just coming from a full season and a tournament as well, being with Italy almost the entirety of June and part of July as well. So he has to go out on holiday, and then he'll put pen to paper after his holidays. But in terms of the agreement, looks like the deal has already been agreed. We're just finalizing in terms of how the 50 million is going to be structured, how you're going to pay, what you're going to pay up front, what is the how much you're going to pay next year, the bonuses and all that. We're just finalizing in terms of things like that. And I don't really have an issue with that. I'd rather have it taking a couple of more days if it means you're going to pay 5 million less than paying 70 million for him because you're in a hurry. The pre-season is not starting until after the 20th, so it doesn't really matter whether we sign him today or after 2 days. It doesn't really matter as long as we get the deal done. That is all that matters, and I'm sure you're going to get the deal done. At the moment, I'm not worried about any team coming in the last minute to hijack the deal. That is potentially not going to happen. I'm actually going to say that is not going to happen. For me, this deal is 99% done. It's just finalizing the structure with Bologna. And Fabrizio also had this one to add. He said Arsenal and Bologna almost have an understanding on a fee of around 50 million. Now they need to clarify the structure of the deal, how much fixed and add-ons, the payment terms. Entering into the new week, both clubs hope to get the deal done. This is what Fabrizio has said today, and I'm sure it's going to get done. So we're just finalizing on them, as you said, the add-ons, how much you're going to pay them, which one they feel comfortable with. Is it if he makes a certain number of appearances? Is it if he scores a couple of goals? Is it if the number of clinches is going to keep and then we add the money? Is it if we win the league or get to the certain stage in the Champions League? All that has to be finalized. With Bologna. Obviously, this is a very, very good player, and they don't want to let him go, very easily without any add-ons or any, additional bonuses to their name, because they know there's a big chance he could come to us in the first season. He becomes absolutely incredible, and they've just sold him for like 40 million. No, they have to also get the bonuses in case Arsenal achieves something. And also, as Fabrizio said, is, the structure of the deal, and how much is going to be fixed, how much in add-ons, so how much are you going to pay them upfront and how much you're going to add for them later on. If it's a 50 million euro deal, I'd not be surprised if it's like 35 million upfront and then, I don't know, maybe 3 installments of 5 million, 5 million, 5 million. I don't know how they structure it. Maybe in terms of the add-ons and the structures, we've heard about this a lot the last 2-3 years with every team. I don't know if this is how it used to be throughout the years. We just didn't know about it, or this is something that has been brought up recently. Because back in the day when, we didn't have all the Twitters and stuff, we just hear Arsenal have signed Ozil and that is it. Or you hear Arsenal have signed Ashavin and that is it. 10 million undisclosed fee or whatever, and that is it. But these days we hear a lot of add-ons, a lot of bonuses, a lot of sell-on clauses, a lot of buyback clauses. These days it's a lot. These days it's a lot in terms of all that. But I have no problem. I'm 99% confident, sure that Riccardo Calafiori will be an Arsenal player, and this deal will be done very, very soon. For me, just like Declan Rice last summer, Riccardo Calafiori is already an Arsenal player. I'm already including him in lineups and stuff, so I'm not worried about it being hijacked. Now we need to worry about which player we're going to sign next. I think by next week we're going to hear about our next close deal, and then we're also going to hear about a few departures. In fact, speaking of departures, who will leave after Calafiori comes in? There was talk about Zinchenko, talks about Kivior. Already know Tierney and Tavares are probably going to leave, but this is the latest from Fabrizio Romano on Jakub Kivior. This is what he's had to say. Jakub Kivior could leave Arsenal in case of good proposal, with Riccardo Calafiori close to joining. Understand there's possibility for loan, but only with the mandatory buy clause. Italian clubs are keeping close eye to the situation. No formal proposals yet. So looks like Jakub Kivior would be the one to leave. I'm not surprised. I really, really wanted him to stay, because it's not easy to get a player who's happy to be on the bench, come on at left back, at left centre back, at right centre back to do the job. The final 30 minutes, a player who's happy to start at left back, in case he's needed. I think he did a very good job for us last season, because if he wasn't there, Tomiyasu wasn't there, Zinchenko wasn't there, Timber wasn't there, we might have been forced to play maybe a Gabriel at left back or something, maybe a Ben White at left back, maybe a Cedric at left back, who knows? But Kivior stood up for us, and he did very well for us from January to the end of the season. He was always available, and I don't think there was too many Arsenal fans keen on selling. I don't know, if you ask Arsenal fans, which players would you sell? Most top fives would have Nketiah, would have Nelson. Some people want Smith Rowe to leave. Some people want Ramsdale to leave. Some people want Partey to leave. Some people want Zinchenko to leave. But I think in many Arsenal fans' list, top 3, top 5 list of players they want to leave, I don't think Kivior would have been in that list, because we know we know the job is going to do for us, just like a Jorginho. We know they're not going to start every single game, but we know that when they come on, they can do the job for us. So I didn't want him to leave, but I also didn't expect Atta to just get rid of Zinchenko like that. He brought him from Man City, brought Jesus. I wouldn't expect him to just get rid of them right away. I'd actually be very surprised if Zinchenko and Jesus ended up leaving right now, in the future, next year or something. Yes, personally, I want all of those players to stay. But listen, as I always say, if money is going to help us to improve a certain position, then you have to look at it. But for Zinchenko, I did expect Kivior to be the one to probably move on, because he was a January signing. He was kind of, I don't want to say a meantime kind of signing, just for now signing. But I mean, if we want to move on as a club in terms of, getting some money for players, buying players, and then they improve and then you sell them on, then we have to start doing that. And Fabrizio has said Kivior looks likely to be the one to move on, but it's not just, it doesn't have to be a direct sell right now. That's the other thing. It could be a loan with an obligation to buy. So Italian clubs are keeping an eye on him. Listen, I would have preferred that money right now, unless we're getting that money from elsewhere in terms of other sales. But I would have preferred, just sell Lokonga right now, get that money, sell Tavares right now, get that money, sell Tierney right now, get that money. If you're selling Ramsdale, sell right now, get that money. But it depends. Most of the Italian clubs will not just come and pay you 20 million right away. They'll have to, structure it in a different way. But listen, as long as it's a must that they buy it, so it's a obligation to buy. So when he goes there on a loan deal for 1 year, and then we agree at least on, I don't know how much you're going to agree on. It would be very, very great if we can get like 20 million total for him. It would be great. That would be a massive profit within 18 months. But I would have actually, that could even be low, because this is a player who plays every day for Poland. He can play left back, he can play left centre back. He had a good season for Arsenal. Maybe it should even be more, because if Chelsea are asking for like 25, 30 million for players like Chalobah, we should actually be asking for like 30 million for Kiwior. That is how it should be. That's a dream part. Even if it can give us 10 million right now and then add-ons later on, I'd have loved it to be anywhere plus 20 million. That would be very, very good. So that's a little on Kiwior. Looks likely like he'll be the one to be leaving, but he's not the only left-sided player who will be leaving. Nuno Tavares seems to be another one who definitely will leave, and this is the latest report from Cross Sport. Lazio's interest in Nuno Tavares is increasing daily as Lazio sporting director Angelo Fabiani remains in contract with Arsenal. The operation will cost around 10 million euros, which is 8.5 million pounds. I wanted at least 10 million, 11 million pounds, which are 8.5 million is still a profit, as we discussed in yesterday morning's video. It is still a profit because we bought him for only 8 million. That will be like a 500,000 profit. Not that much, but let's be honest, since he joined Arsenal, has he dropped off or has he improved in terms of a player? I think he kind of dropped off, and he didn't really play for Nottingham last season. He only played 8 games. Marseille had a good loan spell. I think that was the best time to try and sell him after that Marseille loan deal, because as of now, I don't think you're going to get too much money for him. But actually, if you make a profit for him, that is still good, because many people did not expect us to get anything for Tavares. His contract expires next year. If he doesn't get sold this summer, then we're not going to get any money for him at all, and that would be a loss. He signed in 2021. If we can get any kind of profit for him, I would take it, to be honest, because he's not going to feature as an Arsenal player. I think you're going to struggle to get too many teams that want him. We are hearing about Lazio and maybe a couple of other teams, but in terms of teams that would want him and pay a lot of money for him, I think that would be a waste of time. Yes, you can hold on to players like Smith Rowe and Ramsdale and wait for teams to pay a lot of money, because for me, we don't really have to sell Ramsdale and Smith Rowe. Unless someone is bringing some significant money, but there's some players that we have to sell, and Nuno Tavares is one of them. Contract expiring. I don't expect him to sign a new contract. There's no need of him signing a new contract, so he will definitely be leaving. So let's see how that one develops. Lazio, very, very interested in him. I think that would be a good move for him. Playing left back, left wing back, that would be a good move for him. So Kiwior looks likely to be leaving alongside Nuno Tavares. We're still waiting to hear the latest on Tierney. If all those moves happen, then I think Zinchenko will definitely stay. I don't know if it's going to be used as a midfielder or as a backup left back, but that is clearly open for Calafiori to play in that position, that because we are getting rid of every single left-sided player. That is clear for him. Now, speaking of Smith Rowe, this is the latest on Emil Smith Rowe, according to reports from our reluctant Nico. Fulham will make a new bid for Emil Smith Rowe. The player is happy to stay and fight for his place at Arsenal, but Fulham are sticking to the chase and won't take no for an answer, with Arsenal willing to sell at the right price. Now, they won't take no for an answer. Listen, we're not going to take anything less than 30 million for an answer as well. We don't have to sell Smith Rowe. I'd be very frustrated if we ended up selling him for like 15 million or something. No, he's already an English international. Yes, the injuries affected him, but you've already seen him having a incredible Premier League season, a full season where he's incredible. So we know he can perform. Another versatile player can play for you as a number 10, as a number 8, as a left winger. Fulham would be, he can be used to that front line of the likes of Willian and Warby and all of those guys. He can rotate with them, and he would be very, very good for them. He'd definitely make Fulham stronger. So if they're taking no for an answer, it has to be over 30 million for Smith Rowe. We can't sell him for anything less than that. And as we've been told, Smith Rowe is happy to stay and fight for his place. Most fans are happy for Smith Rowe to stay and get a few games here and there. Next season, hopefully, if you go through in the Carabao Cup and FA Cup, they get more opportunities to play. We've been very unfortunate. They've been very unfortunate, these players, the likes of Turner and Smith Rowe and Vieira, that the last 3 seasons, the cup competitions, we've been eliminated very early. Brighton, Man City twice, Liverpool. We've been eliminated very, very quickly. We don't really progress in those competitions, because let's say we beat Liverpool in January, And then our next fixtures like Coventry at home. No disrespect to Coventry, they reached all the way to the semi-final, but you know what I mean. Maybe a Smith Rowe would have gotten a chance in that game. And then maybe if you go farther, and then in the quarterfinal you have a game against Chelsea in the league, and then right after that you have another FA Cup fixture, and they're playing well, they're confident, you can play them in those fixtures as well. But unfortunately, we've been going out of those competitions very early, and we've been finding ourselves in situations where we're like, we are chasing Man City, only 10 games remaining. Can we really take off Ramsdale and bring Turner or, any of that? Not possible. You have to play the full strength team. So that becomes an issue. But hopefully, if we do progress, the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe can get a lot of game time, and he can be used. There's a lot of positions he can be used. Maybe you can also rest Odegaard a couple of games. Injuries can happen, and these players will get opportunity to play. But for Fulham, if they're taking no for not taking no for an answer, we have to get a significant amount of money, because as of now, looks like Lokonga could be a loan, and then we get the payment later. For Kiwi, looks like it's going to be loan and then payment later. No team has really shown their interest in Ramsdale as of yet. Tierney, we don't know the situation with him. Vieira looks like he's going to stay. Teams are wanting Nelson and Nketiah, but they've not really put the money up front and said, here's the money, we want this player. So we're kind of still struggling to sell this player. So any player we can sell right now, it has to be for a significant amount so that we can use that money elsewhere. But that's the latest on Emil Smith-Rowe, Tavares, Kiwi, and also Calafiori. I'm sure the Calafiori deal will be done very, very soon. Let me know what you make about all that. Are you frustrated with the Calafiori? People have said it's taking too much time. Remember, it's only been like 4 days, 5 days, not too much time. But let me know, are you still frustrated in terms of us not signing him yet? And also the other players, what would you do with Kiwior? Do you think that's the wrong choice? Do you think it should have been Zinchenko? And also for Tavares, do you think that's good money to get for him, 8.5 million? And also finally Smith-Rowe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you on the next.